Everybody out there, try to do this trick as well as 50 million other tricks without using your brake. Calling you out. Today's video is all about using the brake, and there's so much crap online about if you use your brake, you're not sick. If you have a fender, you are sick. When you use your brake during a manual, you're not sick. And it's like, what does this even mean? What made you in charge? Who made you the CEO of manuals? I don't know about that. And if there ever was a meeting where they were appointing the CEO of manuals and you didn't invite me to the meeting, I'm not saying to put me as the CEO, but you didn't invite me to the meeting. My whole life revolves around manuals. That's what I live for. I love manuals. And you didn't invite me to the sick meeting. You know what? We're gonna square up. Simple as that. Welcome back to a new video. And today's video is clearly about using the brake, and a lot of people will think it's bad. I cannot even think of one reason. Well, maybe I can think of a few reasons why it is bad. Not bad, just harder. I actually think of it as when you're using a brake, there's things that are worse. Like, you actually make things harder for you. Some people think that if you're using your brake, it's not. It's cool. Brakeless manuals are sicker. I mean, who freaking cares? Who cares? Who's making rules? The reason why we're riding scooters is to listen to people. The worst thing is when you have to hear people. So using the brake, I've used it my whole life, and I'm going to continue to use it. If anything, I'm using it more often. And the reason why I'm putting this video out today is to call everybody out. If you guys don't use the brake, that's great. No one's telling you to use it or not use it. But if you're saying something about someone who's using a brake, I want people to call me out. Call me out. But the point is, I'm going to continue with the video. We're going to learn a bunch of stuff. I'm going to use the brake like crazy today. But the point of this video is to basically explain that using your brake is like, it's like using grips. Like, you're going to use it to learn more tricks. Why would you ride a scooter and not want to learn trick? The only reason I can see would say something about that is for cool points. And scootering isn't cool yet. I'm sorry. Sorry to break it to you. We're not even close to being cool. But today we're going to be doing a bunch of stuff, and using the brake has helped me learn so many tricks. The trick we just did just now, along with 50 million other tricks, using the brake is good. And we're going to get more into using the brake in a little bit. I'm going to keep doing a couple of tricks. There's a few things I want to do. We've been pumping really good in the front wheel. Going to do more of that today. Continue the brake conversation in a second.
Sweating. Yeah. In 2010, thought I was doing something, and now I'm rapping with a crew or something. I guess the track don't really stick unless he's gluing something, and I never fit the shoe until I do something. Yo, bracing myself like teeth.
See what I'm saying? Those last three tricks, you're not doing without a brake, which means if you were sick and you weren't using a brake, and you just think it's not cool, that means you're missing out on those tricks. Maybe those tricks don't interest you, which is fine, but Caper and Funk is calling me. Hello.
Yo, what's up, baby?
You got the right number over there? What's going on with you?
Of course I got the right number.
Hold on, stand by. All right, sorry for the interruption. I actually forgot what I was talking about. I think I was ranting about brakes and how you should use them if you want to learn more tricks. Brakes, yes, that's what we're talking about. I made a video years back, and it was about brakes. If you look it up, it's probably the same exact title. Like, so I'll use the same title. I don't care at all. But I wanted to bring it up because I've been using the brake more, and just to prove that in the last 3 years of continuing to use the brake, I've learned so much. I've never progressed so much in my life, and I feel like if I wasn't riding my brake, I wouldn't be learning everything I am now. There are some tricks that you can do without the brake. It'd be the same trick, and yes, it would be harder. But there's some tricks that you need to learn with the brake in order to do that. Such as, for example, to learn to get into this position so you can eventually do this trick, you have to know what it feels like to be in this trick and then bring it back. Some tricks are a stepping stone, where if you want to learn something, it's gonna help you learn. But I think the biggest argument is manuals, like straight manual. Like, if you're sick, you don't use your brake on straight manual. It's like, we'll get into that in a little bit. It'll be my final statement about brakes and just the straight manual, which is usually what gets criticized online. I have an argument, so we're fine. A few more things. Try some front wheel pumping. Very difficult because the floor is not perfectly smooth, but we'll try. plenty of brake action. I'm on a strange schedule right now where I have to run home to go on the computer for a NFT giveaway. Does that make sense? We're gonna continue the video somewhere else. But I just wanna get an outdoor session with some brake tricks, and we'll elaborate on the manual real quick, and then we're gonna do one trick that I'm saving that I really wanna show you guys. It's a trick that no one's done. I'm pretty confident it'll be a trick that no one can do for a couple years, but brakes and manuals, I find it more difficult to balance manuals with your brake, because when you touch your brake, what happens? When you press your brake, what happens? You slow down, right? And if you're trying to manual something, you're trying to finish and get across and do the long manual, why would you want to touch your brake, right? Some people stand over the brake, so if you feel like you're going to loop out, you tap it to bring yourself back, but that's the only reason when people touch it. Some tricks are easier to land into to toggle the brake, like say if you're doing a tail whip to manual, or bar spin to manual, or for instance, I do flare manuals while I use the brake, and sometimes I feel like I'm on the quarter and I'm gonna loop out, and if I do a flare manual and loop out hard enough, I will crack the back of my head, I will twist my leg. Why would I not want to touch the brake in order to correct myself and finish the trick and do flare manual mega spin, around the world mega spin double whip, which is a world's first that no one's even tried, and I did it because I used the brake. So it's like, oh man, I don't get it. People think scootering is sick, which it is, but then there's like a different definition of being sick. And I've noticed this in the entire world, that when you feel part of something, you feel cooler. So let's say if I was against the brake and little Tommy over here was against the brake, like we were like brake haters. It's like, oh man, I'm a brake hater. Like, oh, me too. Like, yeah, we're brake haters together, and then like, you feel better, right? So I think that is the main reason why people trash talk brakes, because they know that someone else will. It'll make them feel good that there's someone else out there, because it's scary to be on your own. It's scary to say something that's on your mind that no one's ever said before, and that is a fact. But enough ranting, I'm sorry. I have to go home and be part of an NFT giveaway. NFTs, real quick, I'm getting into it. It's been about 2 weeks. Very addicting. I love the meaning behind it. Obviously, you make money, whatever, but it's more about like the meaning, like what they could mean, like these contracts. Very interesting, and I really want to come up with a cool idea and not to make money. I want it to where I can connect with people. So I'm gonna do some homework. Maybe in like the next season we'll have something, but giveaway and then crazy, magnificent trick.
Yeah. I'm sweating. Yeah. In 2010, thought I was doing something, and now I'm rapping with a crew or something. I guess the track don't really stick unless he's gluing something, and I never fit the shoe until I do or something. Yo, bracing myself like T.